Ustedes recordarán que la sonda Cassini.
You will remember that the Cassini probe. You will remember that the Cassini probe.
Que fue enviada precisamente.
Which was sent precisely. Which was sent precisely.
Por la NASA a Saturno.
By NASA to Saturn. By NASA to Saturn.
Saturno tiene 60 lunas. Saturn has 60 moons. Saturn has 60 moons. Nosotros solamente una. We only one. We only one. Y solamente una de ellas. And only one of them. And only one of them. Tiene 500 kilómetros de diámetro. It is 500 kilometers in diameter. It is 500 kilometers in diameter. Y se llama Encélado. And it's called Enceladus. And it's called Enceladus. Y tiene geysers que lanzan agua vaporizada. And it has geysers that release vaporized water. And it has geysers that release vaporized water. A 40 kilómetros de altitud. At 40 kilometers altitude. At 40 kilometers altitude. Uno se va a los parques nacionales. One goes to the national parks. One goes to the national parks. ¿Y te acuerdas? And do you remember? And do you remember?
Hay un geyser.
There is a geyser. There is a geyser.
Que te lanzaba agua.
That threw water at you. That threw water at you.
A 20 metros.
At 20 meters. At 20 meters.
Y todo el mundo aplaudiendo. And everyone applauding. And everyone applauding. Allí en ese lado, they're on that side, they're on that side. Los géiseres, the geysers, lanzan agua a 40 kilómetros. They throw water 40 kilometers. They throw water 40 kilometers. Y nadie aplaude. And no one applauds. And no one applauds. Porque ni siquiera los vemos. Because we don't even see them. Because we don't even see them.
Usted nos está dando una cantidad de información.
You are giving us a lot of information. You are giving us a lot of information.
Déjeme preguntarle algo.
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you something.
¿Qué es más o menos?
Which is more or less. Which is more or less.
Lo que entiendo.
What I understand. What I understand.
Es espacio y tiempo.
That's space and time. That's space and time.
O los dos están correlacionados.
Or the two are correlated. Or the two are correlated.
Actualmente se dice.
Currently it is said. Currently it is said.
Que si uno va a la velocidad de la luz.
That if one goes at the speed of light. That if one goes at the speed of light.
Usted pierde todo.
You lose everything. You lose everything.
Se desintegra.
You disintegrate. You disintegrate.
Porque usted en un segundo.
Because you in a second. Because you in a second.
Recorrió 300,000 kilómetros.
Traveled 300,000 kilometers. Traveled 300,000 kilometers.
Y yo estoy aquí, porque cuando yo estoy aquí.
And I am here, because when I am here.
Gasto 300,000 kilómetros allá.
I spent 300,000 kilometers there. I spent 300,000 kilometers there.
Es más o menos así.
It is more or less like this. It is more or less like this.
La teoría del organismo del ser humano.
The theory of the organism, the human being. The theory of the organism, the human being.
Tiene un ciclo de tiempo y de vida pactado.
It has an agreed cycle of time and agreed life. It has an agreed cycle of time and agreed life.
Con el ciclo de la Tierra.
With the cycle of the earth.
Las 24 horas al día.
24 hours a day. 24 hours a day.
Y de todo esto.
And of all this. And of all this.
¿Qué me puede decir usted?
What can you tell me? What can you tell me?
Con respecto a esto.
About this. About this.
Hace un rato.
A while ago.
Se estaba hablando.
They were talking.
De algo muy interesante.
About something very interesting. About something very interesting.
Como son los déjà vu.
How are deja vu? How are deja vu?
O sea, el ser humano tiene potenciales psíquicos.
That is, human beings have psychic potentials. That is, human beings have psychic potentials.
Ya es impresionante.
Already impressive. Already impressive.
Porque no solamente.
Because not only. Because not only.
Podemos comunicarnos.
We can communicate. We can communicate.
Con la palabra.
With the word. With the word.
También con la mente.
Also with the mind. Also with the mind.
Eso se llama telepatía.
That is called telepathy. That is called telepathy.
Tú puedes ver con los ojos.
You can see with your eyes. You can see with your eyes.
Pero también con la mente.
But also with your mind. But also with your mind.
Eso se llama clarividencia.
That is called clairvoyance. That is called clairvoyance.
Tú puedes tocar un objeto.
You can touch an object. You can touch an object.
Y a través del tacto.
And through touch. And through touch.
Saber si.
Know if. Know if.
Es rugoso.
It's rough. It's rough.
Liso.
Smooth. Smooth.
Frío.
Cold. Cold.
O caliente.
Or hot. Or hot.
A través del tacto.
Through touch. Through touch.
Puedes saber la historia del objeto,
You can know the history of the object. You can know the history of the object.
a quién le perteneció,
Who did it belong to? Who did it belong to?
si el dueño del objeto está vivo,
If the owner of the object is alive, if the owner of the object is alive,
está muerto,
is dead,
está cerca o está lejos.
is near or far, is near or far.
Interpol, Scotland Yard y FBI.
Interpol, Scotland Yard, and FBI. Interpol, Scotland Yard, and FBI.
Utiliza psíquicos
Use psychics
para resolver
to solve
casos delictivos
criminal cases,
que no pueden ser resueltos
which cannot be resolved
por la vía normal.
by normal way.
Esto se llama
This is called
termoóptica,
thermo-optics,
termopiel,
thermo-skin,
óptica visión,
optical vision,
visión a través de la piel,
vision through the skin,
mientras que en las facultades psíquicas
while in psychic faculties,
está la premonición
there is premonition,
o la precognición,
or precognition,
la capacidad
the ability
de anticiparse al futuro.
to anticipate the future,
O sea,
I mean,
¿cuánta gente
how many people?
dejó de ir a trabajar
He stopped going to work.
a las Torres Gemelas
To the Twin Towers.
el día del atentado?
The day of the attack?
Porque sintió una revoltura en el vientre,
because he felt a flutter in the belly,
donde está el lado derecho del cerebro.
where the right side of the brain is,
La inteligencia emocional
Emotional intelligence.
también en el vientre.
Also in the womb.
La gente siente una angustia
Pipal file engage.
y no fue a trabajar para la hora
And he did not go to work by the time.
que fueron atacadas las Torres Gemelas.
The Twin Towers were attacked.
Debía haber habido 50,000 personas en las torres.
There must have been 50,000 people in the towers.
Y entre la gente que murió y desapareció,
And among the people who died and disappeared.
solo fueron 3,000 personas.
There were only 3,000 people.
¿Qué pasó con las otras 47,000?
What happened to the other 47,000?
La gente tuvo una premonición.
People had a premonition.
Prevenir, anticipar desgracias, pero con cognición.
Prevent, anticipate misfortunes, but with cognition.
Conocimiento previo de las cosas.
Prior knowledge of things.
Nosotros durante la noche soñamos mucho.
We dream a lot at night.
Los sueños no son mera imaginación.
Dreams are not mere imagination.
Hay sueños que son verdaderas experiencias.
There are dreams that are true experiences.
En otra dimensión se llaman viajes astrales.
In another dimension they are called astral travel.
Hay sueños que son premonitorios.
There are dreams that are premonitory.
Son anticipos de cosas que te van a ocurrir.
They are advances of things that are going to happen to you.
O para que no te ocurra.
Or so that they do not happen to you.
O para que estés preparado
Or so that you are prepared for.
para cuando eso pase.
When that happens.
Hay sueños que serían
There are dreams that would be
recuerdos de vidas pasadas.
memories of past lives.
Para quienes creemos en la reencarnación,
For those of us who believe in reincarnation.
sería interesante
It would be interesting to
ahondar en eso.
delve into that.
Después,
Then,
hay sueños
there are dreams
que son imaginación
that are imagination.
Afloramiento subconsciente.
Subconscious outcrop. Subconscious outcrop.
Cuando te despiertas,
When you wake up,
te olvidas
you forget
lo que has soñado
what you have dreamed. What you have dreamed.
y de pronto cuando ocurre la situación,
And suddenly when the situation occurs.
que ya habías anticipado,
That you had already anticipated.
dices que esto ya lo habías vivido,
You say that you had already lived.
esto ya lo habías soñado.
This you had already dreamed this.
Nunca había estado aquí.
I had never been here.
Sin embargo,
However,
yo sé que detrás de este muro
I know that behind this wall,
hay una torre o hay un pozo,
there is a tower or there is a well.
o hay una piscina,
Or there is a pool.
y está ahí todo.
And everything is there.
¿Y cómo puedes haberlo sabido?
And how could you have known?
Pues son vidas pasadas,
Because they are past lives.
o porque tuviste esa premonición,
Or because you had that premonition.
conocimiento previo de las cosas.
Prior knowledge of things.
¿Existe la posibilidad de realmente viajar?
There is the possibility of actually traveling.
A través del tiempo y el espacio,
Through time and space.
porque el universo realmente no es la idea.
Because the universe really is not the idea.
Que todos nos hemos hecho.
That we have all made ourselves.
Las cosas no funcionan así,
Things don't work the way
como decían,
they said.
que la tabla periódica de los elementos,
The periodic table of elements.
de una cantidad de elementos,
Of a number of elements.
pues en el espacio que vemos todas las noches,
Because in the space that we see every night.
cuando solo miramos el cielo,
When we only look at the sky.
no vemos ni el presente ni el futuro,
We see neither the present nor the future.
lo que vemos por las noches es el pasado,
What we see at night is the past.
muy pasado de las estrellas.
Very past of the stars.
Los planetas están tan lejos de nosotros
The planets are so far away from us.
que lo que estamos viendo ya pasó,
That what we are seeing has already happened.
como cuando haces la migración al sistema y recibe.
Like when you migrate to the system and receive.
Lo estamos viendo,
We are seeing it.
como las ondas gravitacionales que llegaron hace poquito.
As the gravitational waves that arrived a little while ago.
Naturalmente que sí.
Naturally, yes.
Precisamente el 3 de marzo del año 2009.
Precisely on March 3rd, 2009.
El detector de ondas gravitacionales de Hannover en Alemania
The Hanover Gravitational Wave Detector in Germany.
el GEOX 600.
OGX 600.
Detectó sonidos. Detected sounds. Provenientes de los confines del universo. Coming from the ends of the universe. Que llevaron al científico Craig Hogan. Which led to scientist Craig Hogan. A la conclusión a través las computadoras. To the conclusion through computers. De que vivimos en un holograma. That we live in a hologram. En una realidad virtual. In a virtual reality. En una simulación a gran escala. In a large scale simulation. En el año 2014. In 2014. Debido a la física cuántica. Due to quantum physics. De la física de las partículas. Of particle physics. Michio Kaku, que es un científico norteamericano. Michio Kaku, who is an American scientist. De padre japonés. Of a Japanese father. Que tiene un programa de televisión. Who has a television show. La física cuántica estaría confirmando. Quantum physics would be confirming. De que nosotros vivimos como una especie. That we live as a species. De realidad paralela. Parallel reality. Parallel reality. Ya Stephen Hawking
And Stephen Hawking.
había hablado
He had spoken.
de que existen universos paralelos.
That parallel universes exist. That parallel universes exist.
En esos universos paralelos,
In those parallel universes. In those parallel universes.
hace miles de años en la India,
Thousands of years ago in India. Thousands of years ago in India.
se hablaba de que el ser humano
It was talked about that the human being. It was talked about that the human being.
tiene 7 cuerpos,
It has 7 bodies. It has 7 bodies.
y que esto,
And that this,
así como estás viviendo,
just as you are living, just as you are living,
toda esta realidad material,
all this material reality, all this material reality.
cuando tú duermes vives otra realidad paralela,
When you sleep, you live another, parallel. When you sleep, you live another, parallel.
el astral,
The astral,
pero también puedes vivir otra realidad paralela,
but you can also live another parallel reality mentally. But you can also live another parallel reality mentally.
En lo mental,
Mentally,
en el alma,
in the soul,
en el espíritu.
in the spirit.
O sea, vivimos
That is,
en universos paralelos.
we live in parallel universes. We live in parallel universes.
¿Cómo podemos apropiarnos del tema en lugar de negarlo?
How can we take ownership of the issue instead of denying it? How can we take ownership of the issue instead of denying it?
¿Por qué la mayoría de las personas,
Why most people? Why most people?
las comunidades,
Communities,
los gobiernos,
the governments,
incluso pretenden es negarlo?
they even tried to deny it.
En lugar de entenderlo,
Instead of understanding it,
con lo que nos tildan de pseudociencia,
with what they call a pseudoscience,
cualquier conocimiento que uno tiene
any knowledge one has,
que no tienen los demás,
that others don't have,
da un poder,
it gives a power,
una ventaja,
an advantage,
sobre el resto,
over the rest,
el control de la información.
the control of information,
Es la ventaja en el mundo moderno.
It is the advantage in the modern world.